Forest, Class 7th, Chapter 17, Second Part. Children, here you are seeing a figure 17.8, a food chain. Green plants, and they are called producers because they manufacture food by the process of photosynthesis. Green plants are eaten by rabbit, which is a primary consumer because it is herbivore. Now rabbit is eaten by fox, that is secondary consumer, and the fox is eaten by lion, that is tertiary consumer. So consumer, these are of three types: primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. Now, in nature, the organisms are in constant interaction with the non living part of the physical environment. The organisms include the green plants, which are the producers, and animal, which form the consumer category. The non living part of the environment include factors like light, temperature, soil, and water. Such factors are important to all living organisms for their survival. Thus, an interdependence of living organisms with the non-living part of the environment. This is important for a system to sustain, and such a system is referred to as ecosystem. Forests form a part of the ecosystem, and these are self sustaining and self regulatory units of nature. The interaction among organisms in the forest ecosystem, this is depicted in the form of food chain. The interaction among the organism, so this can be represented in the form of food chain. Food chain, this involves transfer of energy through the process of eating and being eaten. A food chain, this is a chain which connect the different living organism by who eats whom. You have learnt in chapter 1 that all green plants trap solar energy and convert it into chemical energy, which is stored as carbohydrate. The plants further transfer their energy to animals, which are called herbivores, after being eaten. The animals may in turn be eaten by other animals, and they are called carnivores. And in this way, energy is transferred at all levels. Some animals are omnivores, means they eat both plants and animal, such as human being. The transfer of energy through a series of organisms, each feeding on the preceding organism. So this is called food chain. And many such food chains, they are found in a forest that are interlinked to form the food web. And the association of plants and animals in food chains or food web, so this is very delicate. If any member in the food chain is affected, the others will get affected, which will disturb the balance of nature. Thus, a balance is always essential in nature. Children, here figure you are seeing figure 17.9, a typical food web. Food web means branched food chain. Here the one organism can be eaten by many other organisms. For example, grass. Grass is eaten by rabbit. Grass is also eaten by deer. Grass is also eaten by grasshopper. And grasshopper, it is eaten by frog. Frog is eaten by snake. Snake can also eat mice or mouse. And snake is eaten by owl. So in this way, there is a branch food chain. When plants and animals die, they form the food for the saprotrophs, which are referred to as decomposer. Saprotrophs, they are also known as decomposers because they decompose or break down the dead plants and animals. They play an important role in the forest. They feed upon dead animals and plant tissues and convert them into a dark colored substance. This dark colored substance is called humus. Thus, the nutrients of dead plants and animals, these are released into the soil. These minerals are absorbed by the trees and plants inhabiting the forest for their growth and development. Now, inside box for your information, decomposers are organisms, mainly fungi and bacteria, which live as saprotrophs on dead organic matter. These secrete digestive enzymes onto dead material and absorb the digested products. Forest conservation. Now the topic is forest conservation. Forests have been extensively exploited by human beings during the last few decades, and the felling of the trees are at much faster pace than their natural replacement. The increase in world's human population has posed serious threat to the forest, and these are being converted into residential, agricultural and industrial location. Mass scale felling of the trees, this is called deforestation, and this has led to the destruction of the habitat of several plants and animal species. There is therefore an urgent need for the forest to be managed, conserved and replenished. Children, you are seeing pic 17.10, that is deforestation. Forests are cut down, trees are cut down on a large scale. Joint forest management. This refers to the model of forest management by involving the local people, or we can say the tribal people, in the reforestation, protection of degraded forest, and to share with them the sustainable benefits from these forests. The involvement of people, this is ensured through village forest councils. Now again inside box, as a first step towards making the people forest conscious, a nationwide celebration of an annual tree planting festival, and this festival is called One Mahotsav. This is done every year on 5th July. 5th July, so this is celebrated as One Mahotsav Day. Following measures can be taken for the forest conservation. First one is trees cut down for timber or other uses should be replaced by planting of more trees, that is afforestation, so that there is no scarcity in future. Second point is a forest should have correct proportion of trees of different ages so that exploitable produce is available at regular interval. Third point is use of fuel wood should be discouraged. Biogas should be employed for cooking. And fourth is social forestry program should be encouraged. Under this program, the so-called wasteland should be utilized to produce firewood, fodder and timber. This program is a boon to rural community. Fifth point, the annual deforestation must be followed by annual reforestation of deforested areas. Means the deforested area, they must be reforested or plant trees. Government and community should take steps to plant trees on large scale. This process is called afforestation and its rate should be increased 3 times the existing rate. Children, you are seeing figure 17.11, afforestation program, in which the persons, they are planting trees, they are planting new plant. Now the sixth point, forest fire should be controlled by fire breaker. Use of anti-fire solution must be encouraged. And the last point is overgrazing by cattle should be controlled and checked regularly. So these steps help in forest conservation. Now the case study. First case study, a forest in Odisha. Since the year 1951, the quantity of degraded land in India has more than doubled. However, certain community, they have done great work towards restoration of degraded forest. Communities in Odisha now take care of over 1,000 small and large forests. An excellent example, this is Bingri Protected Forest in Puri district. Surrounded by villages, this 360-acre forest was completely degraded in the year 1967 to 70. The ponds were full of sediments and stream had dried up. All the villages surrounding Bingri united and put a control on tree cutting. Very soon the stream had water in them which lasted for few months after the monsoon. Ponds were cleared and fisheries began to have better productivity. Positive result in one such forest encouraged many other community to do like them. Now, inside box for your information. In order to protect global biodiversity and increase the study and management of endangered species, the International Union for Conservation of Nature and the World Conservation Monitoring Center maintain a global list of endangered and vulnerable animal species, and this is called the red list. Now again come to the topic biogas. This is a cheap eco-friendly fuel burning with smokeless flame. It is truly the creation of wealth from waste for farming community. Waste arising from livestock such as cow dung, vegetable and plant waste, these are placed in airtight tank and they undergo bacterial anaerobic degradation in the absence of oxygen. The gas produced is methane used as biogas. The residue left behind in the tank, this is rich in nutrient and is used as manure. Now by this chapter is completed.